Hello and welcome to the Flock Hosting Update for April 2018. I even had to look at a calendar for that one as it has been a long month. It's been a long couple of months, but things are slowly on the upturn and things are changing and things are getting better, hopefully. Just a lot going on. Just going to probably be a very quick one, I hope. Just going to kind of bullet point things really quickly just because I have a pile of things I got to get back to, but I just didn't want to leave you guys without an update of kind of the things going on, things coming up, etc. One of the biggest things that's coming up is the big Chrome upgrade. If you're not familiar with that, I'm going to leave some links as well as the things that have been going on in PCI compliance. And what PCI compliance is the security around credit cards. So basically, if a company is not PCI compliant, they can receive fines, meaning that basically they're not making best practices to make sure your credit card data, information, etc. is in place. And there's been recent upgrades to what's called TLS 1.2, a security profile is being forced. One of the large companies called Authorize.net, which is a huge credit card processor in the US and the world. They basically took and made February, the end of February, their big transition date. And it left some companies with no credit card processing because there was no option to go backwards. There was no option to use even slightly less secure protocols. They basically were forcing the latest and greatest and making sure that things were secure. Now, these two threads are not directly connected, but it is part of the ongoing trend which says this is 2018, sites should be secure. Doesn't matter if you're even just searching, the connection between yourself and the server should be secure. And so to that end, a friendly reminder that, again, we do offer auto SSL on all cPanel servers. It's cPanel's function of checking a site if it's secure. If it's not, it provisions a 3-month validity certificate. I think it might actually be more now. I'll have to double check. The official will be in the show notes. But basically, it just gives a certificate. It's a generalized certificate. It's not one of these ones that gives you the fancy green or anything like that. There's different levels of security you can purchase. But for most sites, it's going to be more than enough. There's also the Let's Encrypt module, which is there as well, which will allow you to have full control. It doesn't rely on me and the auto SSL system. Let's Encrypt is a whole different service and offers some cool features like wildcards and a few other things that are definitely worth a look if you are a hardcore web developer and you need a little bit more flexibility in your certificate. So there is that. I will have show notes on a whole bunch of different stuff as well as the Chrome stuff as well, because Chrome's big thing is they're going to be warning your visitors if you're not secure. So if you have any type of login form on your site, there will be a pop-up on Chrome which basically says this site is not secure. And it's one of those things that's kind of a fear tactic / motivator to get you going. So again, if you guys hit that, if you guys are already running a test version of Chrome and you're seeing that and you want to see about fixing that up, there'll be some links in the show notes which are going to explain just the details of how to do it. If you're viewing this on YouTube, check the blog. The blog actually has the full show notes, not just a link that says check the show notes. So there is that. The billing system with domains, church hosting, I'm going to kind of lump it into one big thing. Church hosting, we are vastly behind. There are a number of churches in the queue right now which have not been processed because we are still going through and fighting through the usual hubbub and garbage that is the people who think that it's clever to just put the word church and try to register anything from, again, we've had, I think it was a Ukrainian, a Russian, a German, I think we even had an Asian one. It was dating church. Yeah, so we have a lot of things to filter through, go through, and it makes it harder because in some cases, churches, you look at it and you start to get over-skeptical of the idea of like, does that really fit? Is that really a church name? And just, basic research, we reach out to churches and just confirm some details. In some cases, make phone calls, have a video chat with a couple, which have been an amazing time of fellowship in the end, so that's always a positive. But some definite things are going to be patched up soon here with that, getting that caught up hopefully before the weekend. We also have had some issues with domain names renewing. Some people have come in and found their domains marked as expired. They never got the thing. Well, we've been working with the billing system company, and they just released a patch which should fix everything up, as well as giving some adjustments and tweaks on how to further make sure you guys' domains are being checked regularly for when they're coming up for expiration, if anything has changed in the domain status, etc., and updating the billing system appropriately. So if you have not, please, as part of the lead into the next thing and kind of tying, again, like I said, tying it all together, trying to make it concise, please take and do a check-in. We're coming up on the middle of the year. We're coming up on basically half of 2018 nearly being done. And it's a good time for you guys to take log into the billing system. If you haven't gone there in a while, again, it's secure.flockhosting.com. There'll be a link in the show notes directly to it. If you have lost your access, again, there is a forgot password system. If you are stuck beyond stuck and you've changed your email, your phone number, if you have no easy way to get in contact me, but there's different ways we can look at recovering your access. If you are signing somebody up for a church and you're no longer with that church and you need to give access to someone else, thankfully we've had some amazing people lately who have made this process easy. They've said, hey, I'm stepping down from the church. My family's moving to South Dakota. I need to make sure Sheila in the office has full control, and we get Sheila the access she needs. We remove them, and we make sure it's secure, safe for everyone. So we're not running into this issue later on that says, we need to renew our domain. We don't know the password, and I have no idea who the person is. So again, for everybody's sake, please log in. Check your domains. If you're seeing them as expired and they're still active, please reach out to me, because you've been part of the glitch that was not updating the renewal dates where you paid for it the previous year. It should be through 2018 of this year, but it's listing as expired. So please get in touch with me. Let's make sure that you guys are all up to date. Make sure your information's up to date while you're in there. And if there's any services or features you are not actively wanting / needing, again, please just cancel them. I hate having to come back to people who are upset because they got billed for something they didn't know. So this is a good spot where we can avoid the nightmare for you and the nightmare for me, and we can make sure everybody is running up to date. WordPress right now is under some pretty hefty attacks. I'm working on some server technologies as well as some hardware technologies to possibly put in front of our network to try to really just curb some of these, because we're seeing just massive amounts of server resources wasted as these bots and other vulnerable sites which are taking and having issues. They're attacking. They're trying to guess passwords. They're trying to log in, and it takes up a lot of resources when literally 3,000 things are trying to log in at once. And so there has been, basically through the day, I've been doing just routine checks to see where things are at, finding if there's a lot of hits right now, and I'll ban an IP address, and they're usually from some networks that are just foreign, or in some cases for the site, they're an attack because they're foreign. They're tracking a UK site from the UK, and people always say, oh, well, China's the biggest attacker. Right now, Lithuania. Don't know why. But just be in mind that, again, there are some great tools for WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, you name it. If you're using a content management system, check out WordFence, Defender, etc. I'll put some links to some basic ones I know, as well as some security audit tools out there that if you're concerned about, say, your Joomla install, there's a really great service out there that scans your Joomla install, gives you suggestions, gives you breakdowns of where you're maybe have something that's out of date, etc. So again, if you haven't, please make sure that you're up to date. It's just a really good thing. And on that same thread, make sure you have a valid backup solution of your own. And while I wouldn't say you have to do a nightly backup, because I'm not doing them, we are doing nightly backups. In fact, we're coming up on the backup check, where we're going to go through and I'm going to check out different servers, do spot checks here and there, making sure that the backup system is doing its job. Because the last thing I want to have happen is that something does happen with your account, you're needing to restore, and we find out there was a glitch. And while I can't check every single account on every single server, we're going to do just a handful on each to make sure that things are running smoothly. I do recommend that if you're using WordPress, check out something like a WP Time Capsule, or even, again, I'll leave a whole bunch of different ones, but they'll link into things like Dropbox. And so, like, at least once a month, if nothing else, make sure you're making your own offsite backup, because I would hate for something to happen, or our backups paused on yours for some reason because of a quota issue, or whatever the case may be. It's best practices, not just for me to take and do these checks, but for you as well to have your own. So again, I would strongly encourage, check the links in the description on different ways to do backups. There will actually be a video tutorial, if I can get it recorded here in the next half hour, that will basically walk through how to use the backup system within cPanel. So every month, if you want to log into cPanel, run a backup, download it, and it will give you instructions on how to utilize that and make it portable. Because again, I don't want to take and ever come to the point where you guys are hung up and stuck without your data. So that's really it. It has been a busy month, and I do covet your prayers as we finish April and head into May. I'm really excited to be starting working on this class idea that a lot of you guys have just said, yeah, if you do it, I'm game. And I've gotten to actually build some curriculum already a little bit with people that I'm helping that are churches, utilizing different plugins and everything with WordPress to build they're building some amazing sites. And so while I can't take credit for everything, because they did do a lot of the design aesthetic themselves and everything else what they put together with the knowledge given, it's been amazing to watch what people can put together. So if you are interested in that, stay tuned. Next month I'll have more updates on the official pricing, the plans for its growth, because again, this is not going to be just focused continually on one thing. And so I'm looking at maybe an annual plan or a monthly plan if it's more convenient, where you can just kind of come on and off as needed. But it would give you access to a full library, not just the WordPress stuff. I mean, it's literally going to be going into stuff like making the most use of cPanel, because I know some of you guys, you look at cPanel and it's daunting. You really don't want to dig in too much. But also just a lot of other things coming up too, where I'm going to be hitting you guys up for some help maybe with this whole idea of making church hosting into a nonprofit. So if you are an accountant, if you are a tax person, if you are a lawyer, you name it, if you have knowledge on nonprofits, the pros and cons, and you can walk me through maybe even just a quick phone call to chit chat about it, that would be great. So if you have that, please reach out to me. And if you guys need anything else aside from all of this, you can check out the communicate page at flockhosting.com/communicate. And I'd love to hear from you guys. Please feel free to schedule a call if you want to have a conversation one-on-one. If not, shoot me an email, shoot me an IM, live chat, etc. I'm around, and I hope you guys are having a great April, and I look forward to talking to you guys in May.